Code Enforcement Board meeting of July 13th, 2017. The meeting will now come to order. Madam Secretary, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes, good morning.
Hi.
Mr. Weatherholt?
Here.
Mrs. House? Here. Mrs. Hines? Here. Mr. Harrington?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
And Mrs. Kundig?
Here.
Mr. Smart did call us when he was unable to make it today.
Okay.
So,
You want to formally excuse him?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to excuse.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion by Mr. Harrington and a second by Mr. Weatherholtz. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. All right, just a short aside here. I hope everyone on the Code Enforcement Board and elsewhere heals quickly. But I'm glad you're all here.
We need to see if we can get a group discount.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes? Are there any additions or corrections? Motion to approve? Motion, Mrs. Heim, second, Mr. Weatherholtz. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Does anyone need to disclose any ex parte communication? All right. Do we have any announcements, Madam Secretary?
yes, Madam Chair. We do have a couple of cases that are in compliance that are not reflected on the agenda.
Okay.
Actually, we have some compliance ones that are on the agenda. If you like, I'll go ahead and read
Yeah, go ahead,
those.
read them all.
On page 3, number 8, CEB 051765 for 119 Thomason Ave is compliance June 27, 2017. On page 4, number 11, CEB 061769 for 101 South Peninsula Drive, compliance July 10th. Case number 12, CEB 051740 for 252 Forest Lake Boulevard, compliance June 26th. On page 5, number 16, case number CEB 061773 for 1147 Lakewood Park Drive, compliance June 23rd, 2017. Number 17, CEB 061774 for 648 Mason Avenue, compliance June 20th, 2017. And under the new cases on page 6, number 20, 071783 for 118 North Palmetto Avenue, compliance July 10th. And number 24, CEB 071782 25 Boardwalk, compliance June 27th, 2017.
Okay.
Amy, a question. Let me see if I can. I didn't mark down the number. It's on the one where they pulled a tree without a permit.
Yeah.
What do they do to mitigate that?
That one was not, that's still being heard.
I thought
today.
that was the
No,
That's number 13.
number 13.
Number 12 is in compliance, the
Okay.
one right before that.
okay. All right.
Wait, excuse me. Number 13
Sorry. Go ahead.
here is a damaged roof and weather pole and uprooted tree.
That's the case that's still being heard today.
Okay, I'm asking about the one where they had actually cut the tree down.
That was 12.
Okay.
Oh.
What do they
Yeah.
do to mitigate when they cut a tree down without a permit? Do they have to plant another tree, or does anybody know?
By code, that's what, yes, that it would be a mitigation generally, adding additional trees. Now, that's correct. I think that's what occurred.
So that's what they'll do then.
Yes.
They put all the plants and trees on.
Okay, just, thank you.
All right. Would our code officers please come forward and be sworn in?
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
And I see we have, do we have two new code officers? Would you like to come up and introduce yourselves to us? Just quick, just a minute.
My name's Mark Jones. I just started back here on the 26th.
Great.
Good morning.
Hi.
Steve Alderman, I used to be here between 2007 and 2011.
All
It's
right.
nice to be back.
Well, welcome to both of you. thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that I work with Mark Jones. Mark Jones for the last 3 or 4 years, been with the Volusia County Code Enforcement staff. He did an excellent job, and I'm sure I'm glad we didn't lose him in the county down here.
Good. Okay. All right, everyone, here's our procedure. We'll be calling cases by number and for the most part in orders that are listed on the agenda. When your case is called, please come forward and be sworn in. State your name and address for the record, and if you are not the owner of the property, please state your relationship to the owner. Our proceedings are recorded, so please speak directly into the microphone. The board will hear from code officers first, and then you'll be given the opportunity to respond. Please direct all your responses to the board. Witnesses may also testify following the same procedure. All right, so I think we're just going to start right out and go into lien review number 1. Today's agenda should not be extraordinarily long like the last few, so we should be able to move through this fairly quickly. Looking forward to that.
And we do have the same property address for lien review 1 and 2. However,
Yes.
there are 2 separate cases.
Right, so I like to hear cases, separately, since they're listed separately. All right, so lien review number 1.
There should be a respondent present, Mr. Groner, I think, on behalf of Mr.
Yeah, please come forward if someone's here. Good morning.
Morning. My name is Albert Groner, and I have the power of attorney for Mr. Bruce Lindengrass. I've known him since 2003, and his mind and body has deteriorated. He's 80% disabled. I'm here to see. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Can you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, we'll hear from the code enforcement people first. Mr. Jackson, our attorney.
Good morning,
morning.
Madam Chair, members of the board. Anthony Jackson, attorney for the city of Daytona Beach. This lien review, I don't know anyone who was actually looked back and saw the notes remember this case, but this was a case, and this is my best recollection. I'll bring the inspector, Tom Cleek, to come speak to it as well, where I know there were numerous neighbor complaints and a situation that really was overwhelming for that neighborhood. We worked through it. As you see, the liens accrued. There was not sufficient or significant effort in terms of bringing this into compliance. The staff's position is that no reduction should be granted on this request for review. And again, I'll turn to Mr. Cleek so he can give you further information regarding the position of the staff.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning. Officer Clegg, Neighborhood Services. My credentials are on file. This is a case, first of all, 388 Brookline is on the corner of Atlantic and Brookline, a very visible piece of property in the residential section. It was under repeat violation status for utility trailer parking, and going down to case number 2, when the gentleman got evicted, he absolutely lived in this trailer with his girlfriend, 3 dogs, no electricity, no water. He was using the yard as his restroom. As you can see, it's a 12 by, I think it was 20 utility trailer. Numerous complaints to the police and to us. I contacted the owner numerous times, and they refused to even get the thing moved, for private property towing. Again, it was over just about a month that these people lived in this trailer on the property and influenced the neighborhood.
I remember this guy. There was a lot of conflict with neighbors and
Yes, sir.
things going on.
Yeah, the conflict with the neighbors was they were defecating in his front yard, and not only the people, but the dogs were. And there was numerous police issues every time they called us back too. But yes,
You were in contact with the actual owner.
yes, and then the owner, and I believe this gentleman here too, that it was like his representative,
Okay.
and so they actually, like I said, were living out of that trailer for.
So this is totally cleaned up now?
Yes, sir.
Both-
The house is demolished.
Okay.
And the
what's-
trap.
in the trailer?
The tenants.
Not Mr. Lindengrass.
No.
And that's why you couldn't get them out?
No, he could have got them out, but the thing was that they were some sort of stipulation that, again, going down to case 2 also, they were tenants, but they never paid any actual rent. They were supposed to be doing work for the owner, and it was like a barter system.
And your recommendation?
No reduction for nothing.
Okay, Mr. Groner, please come forward because this is your chance to speak. Usually people send a letter that accompanies our lien review.
Okay.
So here's your
I'm
chance.
not familiar with that, yeah, so.
Okay.
Like I said, I've known Mr. Lindengrass since 2003, and his mental and physical condition is diminished. He's on 80% disability. The reason why he couldn't get the tenants out was because they threatened him, and they had dogs in there.
Yeah,
It was horrible, okay? They even tried to sue him. Of course, they lost. I brought him to every court case that he was involved in. I did get him some money from the insurance company because of the wind loss on the roof, which enabled him to pay for the demolition.
okay.
He owes $67,000 on the property. I'm working with a realtor to try to sell the property. No one's come forward because of the condition of the hotel that's next to it. He does live in Ormond Beach. In 2003, he purchased that home for $190,000, but because of poor understanding and knowledge of interest and interest rates, he still owes $185,000 on it. He lives on his disability, and he has no funds. So, was it his fault that he didn't come forward or wasn't strong enough to get the tenants out? Not if they were threatening him, okay? So that all that stuff was not his fault. And they demolished the inside. So and I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just saying I seen this situation. I came from Orlando to try to help him out. And I was there at that place trying to even get rid of them. There's dogs were massive. Even the mailman wouldn't
We
go
saw
there.
pictures
Yeah,
of
it was
them.
crazy. So that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Oh,
When
he's a
did you
hoarder,
get
so-
power of attorney?
About a year ago.
Okay. And that's when this case first came forward, is about a year ago, Mr. Cleek?
No, it was, a little bit more than a year ago on
Yeah.
June 9th. It was
Okay.
effective, but it was, I think, a couple months prior to, so about April.
Okay.
If he had the means, I wouldn't be here, okay? Like I said, he owes more on both properties, and he's a hoarder. Intentionally? No, he wasn't that way in 2003. But he's just, and a piece of junk car that he drives, when he drives. I mean, it's just horrible. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything from the board? We can feel bad for his condition, but it really was such a huge eyesore and horrible conditions for the people around there that I'm inclined to go with code enforcement's recommendation. I don't know. That's why I asked. I don't know when this first came forward and when the conditions
Well,
started.
I didn't hear her question.
When did this case first come forward? And Mrs. Himes thinks it came in 2014, but I don't have that information in front of me. But, I mean, obviously it was 6/16 when it came, this particular, so it wasn't 14?
It indicates that the very first notification was December 2014. December 17, 2014 was the initial notification.
Okay.
That was when the original order of noncompliance was entered for outside storage and
Wow.
parking of trailers.
Oh, that was the
That
basis
was the-
for
that was
the
the-
repeat violation?
Yes.
From
That order.
Okay.
So the order was entered of noncompliance for parking of the trailers and outside storage in December 17th of 2014, and then the repeat violation happened May 4th, 2016, and
Okay.
May 5th, 2016. So the fine was from that.
All right, I get that. Yeah, it wasn't our packet. Okay. Any other comments? All right, the chair will entertain a motion to deny a reduction in the lien.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Heim, second by Mr. Weatherholtz. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. All right, we'll go on to lien number 2, CEB 061636. Basically, it's the 388 Brookline, the same property. Oh, yeah, that was the repeat file. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead, Mr.
Madam Chair,
Jackson.
members of the board, while this is a separate case, it was the same property, much more the emphasis on the conditions of the structure itself, the inside.
Mm-hmm.
The recommendation of the staff is the same. I'll turn to Mr. Clegg to explain the position
Okay.
of the staff.
Good morning again, Officer Clegg. My credentials are on file. This case in 10 years that I've been on with code enforcement was one of the worst I had. The tenants were living in the house, had absolutely no drywall, no floor. You could see the sky, the rafters of the roof. The roof was collapsed. They were using extension cords for electricity, the hot water heater, and other issues. The recommendation, like I said, these are the pictures are self-explanatory. It's just like I cannot believe someone was living in these conditions. They said they were there for almost a year. And again, they were trying to do a barter system with the owner, and the people that were, the tenants that were living here were supposed to be type handyman people that would do some work. And so therefore my recommendation's no reduction.
Okay.
The owner was living on this property that whole 10 years or not?
I'm not sure, but the owner was living in it. But again, I came numerous cases for maintenance violations with the tenants. I've never met the owner. I've met this gentleman a couple of times.
So he basically received no income for that, at least for that year that you were aware of.
That's what the tenants told me, that they bartered, did work for the guy at some other properties that he owned. So I think it's a personal house up in Ormond.
Okay, Mr. Groner?
The tenants are criminals. They have records. They scared them half to death. They tore down the building,
Right.
not him. Okay? They also stole money from him. Unfortunately, he gets his disability and he paid him cash for the things that they never even did. Now, I have other people that I could have brought as witnesses, which is the neighbor, which also works for the city, and the manager of the hotel. But it wasn't his fault. He was just a scared not old, I'm 76, he's 65, but he was a scared man, okay?
Yeah.
That's it. Now, my other question is, if he owes more than the house is worth, and he owes more than the other house is worth in Ormond Beach, how do you get the money from him?
Well, that is a question for the legal department, not for me. I mean, we
I understand.
just,
I just don't think it's fair based on, if it was his fault, I wouldn't even be here.
well, I don't intend to argue with you, but my opinion is that they were allowed to live in there.
He couldn't get him
To
out.
start with.
He couldn't
Well,
get him out.
To start with.
He also called the police department. I know of that because I met them there. He couldn't get them out. They wanted to sue him. It was just crazy. They were criminals with the knowledge of the law. Okay? That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Can I go now?
Sure. Any other comments? All right. The chair will entertain a motion to deny a reduction of the lien. Motion, Mrs. Himes, second, Mr. Weatherholtz. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to our continued cases. Case number 1, CEB 04-17-20, Irvin White at 240 DeSoto Street. Mr. White, come forward, please. Good morning. Good.
Can you state your name, please, sir?
Irvin White.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I'll tell you the truth, I don't swear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to hear from Code, and then we will listen to what you have to say.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is Jerome McCoy. Mr. McCoy reports that the respondent has submitted permits, and he's waiting for approval. The permit's under review, and the staff is requesting that this be amended to the next cutoff. And I tend to Mr. McCoy if there's any other factual questions, but that's the status right now, and so the request of the staff is that we amend to the next cutoff.
Yeah, I have a question. Exactly what date were the permits requested?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jerome McCoy, Neighborhood Service Inspector. My credentials on file. I'm gonna have to pass that to the owner because I'm not aware of the dates that they were actually submitted.
Well, when you recommended the next cutoff, didn't you ask him copies of those permits?
I spoke to the gentleman, but we didn't really discuss the date of that the permit was actually submitted.
You have?
But they are on record.
You have. Yeah.
So
All right, we'll get that. Let's have Mr. White come up and tell us and show us that he's submitted these.
It was submitted on the, they received it in on the 8th, but they didn't do the final document until the 9th of last month. That's why it
Okay,
wasn't
that's
here.
right. So July
Yeah.
9th is when
Yes.
they. Okay.
Yes.
I think he's saying June, right?
June.
June 9th. Oh, yeah,
June.
sorry, June 9th.
But
yeah.
on the 5th, I came down here and picked up a punch list to pick up the permit.
Right.
Actually, things that they wanted done.
Okay.
I picked it up personally myself. I went and did everything. Here's the revision sheet where I turned it in. Here's where I paid for everything they wanted to pay for. All the information here. He must have went to the Midtown Redevelopment Board, got all the colors and everything. She gave me a letter for all that. And I was looking to have the permit to stay here in front of y'all this morning, so I'm ready to go to work.
Okay, good.
So now, to my attention came when 2 days ago I was down here turning in some more paperwork saying that we got to make the duplex out of house now. And they couldn't talk to me, so I had to talk to the contractor. So I proceeded to give him a call, and he said, well, Mr. White, I'll get back with you. And he don't almost understand what they're saying either.
Have they required you to have an architect or an engineer do a drawing of the?
Well, we turned in all that.
You turned in?
We turned in all
That's all
that.
turned in.
Yes, and they gave him this points list. He said that's all we needed
Right.
to pick the permits up. And
So
I
so they gave you the punch list, and now there's another requirement that's not on there?
They said change everything we done.
What they're saying is the structure was a duplex.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're saying most likely is it's a single-family residence, and they can't build a duplex
Okay.
in a single-family residence.
No. It's zoned for duplexes, and it
Oh,
is
it
a
is
duplex.
Okay.
And they want me to make it a single-family residence. When the area is zoned for the duplex, the lot is large enough for
Who
a
wants you
duplex.
to make it?
But this is the information I got from
Okay,
downstairs. They said we
downstairs.
can't talk to you, but we can't do
Okay.
anything. This is when I was turning in other paperwork for another
Okay.
job.
Okay.
So
Mr. Jackson, if we continue this case and the permits are still a problem, would you ask that somebody from permitting be here?
Certainly.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to ask some questions of what's going on here. Is it going to go on forever? Everybody seems a little confused, so maybe they could answer us directly.
Okay, yeah. If
next time,
certainly.
see what the
Yeah,
issues are.
if there appears to be
If
that the
there's
It's not in
city,
compliance, bring somebody from permits.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's in
Not-
compliance, then we're fine.
Right, right.
well, I mean, moving forward on the next stage,
Right,
I don't
exactly.
know
Come back and ask for
the
more time.
presumption.
Mr.
Understand.
wants to know why.
Okay.
Because from what the date you gave us last time, they were in, but he said they just processed.
Yeah, well, it
Well,
appears
they-
that the
but they
progress was
weren't.
being made. There's some
Yeah,
decisions
yes,
that have been
yes,
made that
that's
have
the
to
only
be
issue
worked
that's
out.
continuing.
And
Right. Okay.
I'll be happy to bring someone if they can't get those things figured out and
You
get
got
it on
evidently
track.
3 different agencies. You got the CRA and this and
Divisions. We're all the city. But,
Okay.
yeah, well, kind of.
divisions.
All right, thank you.
All right, anything
Well,
else?
You know, on items like this, you know, we have them every now and then. I think it'd be a good idea to either have the inspectors, you know, talk to the building official, or have somebody from the building department
Here.
here.
And that, yeah,
There's no sense wasting time on
Right.
something like this and holding this gentleman up
right.
until he gets an answer and coming up before the code enforcement for a fine.
And this is just my personal perspective, if I can. I think that the things that y'all have to decide would not necessarily be impacted by what the permit staff is resolving with the respondent in terms of only to the question of how long should it take, but in terms of whether or not, you know, the zoning questions and those types of things, those are the things they're trying to now work out. And I don't know if those are necessarily within the realm of the jurisdiction of the board.
What do you
but
think it's?
it's informational, and I'll be happy to bring them and let them
That's what
inform
I'd like
me.
to have, more information.
More information
By-
on it,
by- for certain. Absolutely. I think it would be very fair for you to
Yeah,
have as
I
much
mean,
information that's available.
And I think it's fair to the respondent to have someone here, and to the code enforcement people to have someone here so they can definitively say, yes, these papers were turned in, you know, on June 8th.
Yeah, well, we don't disagree at all. We're 100% in agreement that the papers are turned in and that we're up to this process, but there is a kink that needs to be resolved
Right.
between the staff
Okay.
and,
All right.
and the respondent.
All right. Chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow the respondent until August 2nd, 2017, to come into compliance and be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved. Is there such a motion? We're just amending to the next cutoff.
Well, that's what I
So moved.
And I'll second it, and we can vote on it.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Jones, a second by Mr. Harrington. What would you like to say?
Okay, I was gonna say with what he's saying now that he's been stopped again, is August gonna be enough time to get this?
Well, we'll find out. We'll get a building person here and find out what, you know, how long they intend to
Yeah.
take. Mr.
I just think
Jones?
we should give this gentleman all the help we possibly can.
Yeah.
It's nice to see somebody come in that wants to do
Right.
it correctly. There's no, I mean, he's come many, many times. He's
Right.
obviously an honest, hard-working
Right.
person. We need to do all we possibly can to help him.
Would you amend that, you know, to a continuance? You know, it kind of makes me a little leery about a fine. Throwing it up there.
Well, I
Well-
don't think that,
Because it's not his fault.
Yeah, I think the difference, so I think if you make it, it's,
he's still got to come back anyway. I think it's just technical. I don't think it matters. I mean,
No,
we're just,
no.
right?
You're not finding anybody.
We're
at
not
this point.
finding anybody. We'll make the decision next time.
The
And
thing is always out there.
right. Is that all right?
Yeah, I think it's great to see it.
Come back in August and it's still not resolved, and it's.
Well, but we need to hear what's going on.
If it's not
Yes.
resolved, I want to hear the reasons.
Yes.
I
The
think
real
what-
reasons.
yeah.
Not because it takes time or.
Right.
I want to know exactly what it's going to take. This is one case.
And
If
then
there's
we could make a
500
better
down
decision.
there, we're never going to get anything done.
We could make a better decision as to how much more time
Absolutely.
Mr. White needs. Right. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. So we'll see you next month. I'm sorry, but, you know, because how many times have you been here? Yeah, okay. And he's come every single time, too, so.
All
right, case number 2, CEB 0517-45, Sylvester and Garrett Covington. Anybody here? All right, Mr. Jackson?
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector reports is requesting that a fine be imposed of $50 per day to a maximum of $20,000, plus a one-time $250 fee for the failure to obtain the business tax receipt. The property remains in noncompliance. The inspector is Jerome McCoy. I will turn to Mr. McCoy to answer any factual questions.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Jerome McCoy, Code Enforcement Inspector. My credentials on file.
Has there been anything done at all? Any contact?
There's been contact once since they came in, and I've been going over to periodically to see the property, and I can see that the grass has been cut, but as far as the damage to the roof is, I see no evidence of anyone coming to do any work on that. Structural, where some of the drywall is falling from the ceiling, and the stairs is some problems with that as well, like with dry rot, decay wood.
Is the building occupied?
At this moment, no, because I went by yesterday and I
Okay.
checked, and there's no one there. But one of the items I cited them for was a rental license, and when I was able to get inside after the previous hearing, a gentleman that was actually cutting the grass out there, he was able to get me inside the apartment, and it was some items from someone inside. And he said that someone was living there. But at this moment, there's
Right.
no one there.
Okay. Any questions?
What's the city's recommendation again?
$50 a day up to $20,000.
$50 a day is going to be nothing. I think we should increase it.
I tend to agree. Any other
Yeah.
comments on that?
Yeah, I'll make one comment, and
Okay.
I think I may have told you before because of my circumstance. I wasn't at our pre-meeting and talked about it, but I guess our history with dealing with Mr. Covington, as well as that they have tended to handle their matters. We understand, have knowledge that the owner is ill and has not been as attentive as he had been in the past. It's not as much a complaint issue, but we know that we need this thing remedied. We've been going and following up, expecting remedy, and so this is the status we're in. We realize that I believe there's an Alzheimer's issue going on right now, and so we know that there's some overwhelming other circumstances that are affecting their efforts to get things done.
All right, well, we all, always feel bad when there are extenuating medical circumstances, but we need to get these properties cleaned up, is my opinion. Does anyone have anything else?
I agree with you.
Okay. All right, well, let me just state a motion, and we'll see where we get with it. The chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today, which is July 13th, and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $20,000, and further imposes a one-time $250 administration fee for a business tax receipt. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Weatherholt, second by Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion what? Yes. Okay, 1 nay. Motion carries. All right. Case number 3, CEB 05-17-46. Luis Miguel Rivero and Victor Peralta. You're Mr. Peralta, the new owner, right? Yeah. Okay. Be sworn in, please.
Yeah, Victor Peralta, 2833, Reading Crescent.
I'm sorry? Could you just state your name, please?
Victor Peralta,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're here for a progress report. Should we just move forward with that?
Yes, ma'am. The
Okay.
staff's position is that, at least our knowledge is that he's making satisfactory progress, but we'd like to hear from him.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Go ahead.
we work in the we apply for the demo permit one day,
Mm-hmm.
and we doing the we painting the outside right now. We already put the primer and everything. We're just waiting for the paint. And when we get the demo, then we're going to change the doors and the windows. We should get the permit like tomorrow or Monday.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Any
Is
questions?
staff satisfied that it's on its way into compliance and he's working?
Yeah, that's the position of staff, that he's
Okay.
making adequate progress towards compliance.
Good. All right, so we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Case number 4, CEB 04-17-15, Norman H. Riley at 340 Taylor Avenue. Respondent present? Good morning.
Good morning. Do I go first? You could,
Okay, just come up and state your name and address for the record and be sworn in.
Hello, my name's Kelly Riley. My parents are Norman and Rosalie Riley. My dad passed away last year.
Raise your right hand, please, ma'am. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll let you testify in a minute. Please just have a seat right there. You can sit right up front. All right, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this case has been going on for a little bit, and our most recent issues, you may recall, is that there was some tenants that needed to hand out. That there were some tenants that needed to be removed, and that they were having some challenges in resolving that in court. They've resolved it by a mediation agreement where the tenants were supposed to be out by July 5th. I don't know if they're out or not, but with the July 5th date being the date that the tenants were to be removed, we're asking that it be amended to the next cutoff to allow them, the respondent, to complete the repairs that are required on the property and bring the property into compliance.
Okay. Ms. Riley? What would you like to tell us about what's going on?
Basically, because we went with mediation, I have to go back to the court to get him actually out. He's halfway out right now. I'm just trying.
I'm listening.
All I want to do is get about 30 days, and I can get this done.
Okay.
It's the backyard, and sorry. It's the primary problem is the backyard, and when I clean that up, the fence panels can be taken down, and it'll look a lot better. But
yeah.
I couldn't go there and do anything while the eviction process was underway. Everybody told me to stay away from there because he was unpleasant, to say the least. Yeah, and
Yeah.
It wasn't very safe. And
So
he came back from
Did
jail.
the court ordered them to be out by the 5th of July?
It was mediation, and there's
Well, court ordered mediation.
Yeah.
And he agreed to be out in 30 days.
And he agreed. Now you have, well,
I have to go back to court.
Yes.
Doesn't mean to leave then.
right.
Once he's out, that's over. It seems like there's a lot more on this complaint than just the backyard.
Well, I have to paint it and,
So
and
you have been working there.
yeah, well, we did a lot before he got out of jail and came back. Yeah, they picked up an entire, you know, where they take the claw and they pick up garbage that way. They came by and picked the whole garbage pile was
Okay,
from there.
what I'm getting at, let's assume that he's out tomorrow. Is 30 days going to be enough for you to complete these repairs that need to be done?
If it's not structural things, yes.
Oh, so you don't know whether they're structural things.
Well,
That's what
I'm not sure. I haven't.
I'm asking you if you really know what needs to be done, since you haven't been able to have it inspected.
Let's talk to Mr. Fitzgerald for a minute.
Good morning, Mike Fitzgerald for the City of Daytona Beach. I'm a building rehab inspector. The building, even if he leaves and she may need more time, we have no problem with giving her the time at that point. She shouldn't be there while he's still living there. There may be issues there. And it's mostly cleanup. And then there'll be some structural stuff in the back house where she'll need to pull permits for, so that will take some time.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Jackson, what are the next legal steps that need to be taken? No?
No.
Okay.
It's up to her to make those decisions.
Okay.
We don't want to advise her.
All right.
So let's say the city told me to do this.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I just was trying to get a time frame of
If he
how
doesn't,
long.
if he doesn't leave, obviously
Right.
she'll have to go back to court.
That's what I'm asking.
And I'm saying is 60 days going to be, assuming they're out tomorrow, is 60 days going to be enough to get these things done, or do we want to talk about 30 days? That's,
Well, I certainly think that we need to see what's going on 30 days from now to make sure that,
Why don't we have a continuance and see what happens with the tenant for next month, and then go from there. Let's make sure that the tenant's happy. She's not going to be able to do anything until the tenant leaves.
no.
So
I'd like to ask what I'm seeing up here. I see the White House and then this orange one that keeps popping up. Are those both on the same property?
There are two houses on There are two houses on the property.
And he's living in the front one? The white
His
one?
address on his driver's license is the front house.
And what's in the back one?
It's damaged, but no one's living there.
Okay.
Corrupt him.
yeah, what, would you put that orange house back up again?
That's a different property. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Oh, that's a
I'm talking
different
about
property.
yeah,
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's what, I think
house
that,
in the back.
Yeah,
that
that
was,
little-
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, that was the confusion. All right. Well, we can just amend our previous order. I want to stay on this. I don't want to just, we need, at the least, I think we need progress reports and, I think so too. So, I mean, we can make a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow the respondent until the next cutoff date to come into compliance. And then we'll see what's going on from there. I mean, this can't be allowed to go on forever.
No.
And that's the request of the city, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I said that's the request of the city,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, and that's. All right, so the chair, okay, chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow respondent until August 2nd, 2017 to come into compliance, to be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved. Is there such a motion?
so moved.
Motion by Mrs. House, second by Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye. Aye. Like sign opposed. Motion carries. All right, so we'll see you next month. All right, let's move on to case number 5, CEB 0517-44. Mr. Elikram. So Joe Hopkins is here, I bet, for that. Okay. 714 East International Speedway. All right. Come forward and be sworn in.
Do you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Joe Hopkins.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we will hear from Mr. Jackson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is reporting that to amend to the next September cutoff date. The inspector is Michael Fitzgerald, and I would have to turn to Mr. Fitzgerald to give you any further information unless he's fine with you hearing from Mr. Hopkins on where they are on this project. Either way.
All right.
Your choice.
Yeah, Mr. Fitzgerald, where are we here?
Mike Fitzgerald for the city rehabilitation inspector. The problem was this that thing that they built. It's gone. It was I guess like a place to sit and eat, porch. And then the issues that they're doing now is the paving of the back, and they're working with staff to get through all of the things that they need to do, but it's time consuming. And I'll let the gentleman speak.
All right, Mr. Hopkins. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Joe Hopkins. My address is 100 Marina Point Drive here in Daytona Beach. What we've done, as Michael's indicated, we removed the unauthorized structure, and we filed an application with the City of Daytona Beach for site plan approval to authorize the paved parking. That application is on file with the technical review team, pending comments from staff. That application included a landscape plan, paving and grading plan, and all of the site plan submission requirements necessary to gain authorization for the work that was done. Procedurally, as I see it, the project, once the site plan is approved, the work has already been done, so the landscaping will need to be done, and then there would be an after-the-fact permit application for the paving work.
Okay.
But the paving work is done.
Correct.
Was it done according to city code? You didn't get a permit, or was
That's correct.
Yes.
So it was to city code.
Right.
Correct.
Do you happen to know when you filed for those permits?
Yes, we filed. I sent a memo to the
Yeah, it's
board
here.
secretary.
I think it was on this.
I believe it was last week,
No.
if I'm not mistaken.
Last week you filed?
July
Right?
6th.
This is when your
Correct.
cover
Weren't you
letter
here
was
last time saying you were going to file those?
Correct.
What
And,
happened between last time and?
we had to obtain a survey and then do the design work and pull all the application exhibits and so forth together.
So the biggest issue is the pervious, impervious area.
Correct. And from a design standpoint, the parking lot is considered impervious because it was compacted gravel. And what they did is they put asphalt over top of that. One of the concerns from staff was whether we were increasing the nonconformity of the site by paving it from side to side.
Side to side.
We, in our site plan, we showed some areas to be cut back to provide for the required buffers. There's a 3-foot perimeter buffer around the south, east, and west sides. We also demonstrated that the striping conforms to the city code. Handicap accessible parking dimensions are met across the board. So we're moving in the right direction. Right. It's taken some time, and we appreciate the staff's and your patience with us.
Any other comments?
The
All right.
reason
Go ahead.
the gentleman who you're representing basically didn't know that he should get a permit to pave the parking area. Was he the one that made that decision? Or?
That's correct. And the contractor, knowingly or unknowingly, didn't seek a permit. It was really the contractor's responsibility to secure the permit, not the property owner.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's fine. All right. The chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow respondent until the September cutoff of September 6, 2017 to come into compliance, be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved. Is there such a motion?
Second.
Motion, Mr. Weatherholt, second, Mrs. House. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, case number 6, CEB 04-17-21, MHP Daytona Air at 1018 Cozy Circle. Are you Mr. McCann? Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Can you state your name, please?
I'm Jerry McCann. I work for MHP Daytona. I live at 10179 June Terrace.
You raise your right hand, please, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, we'll hear from Code and then we'll let you speak.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for the imposition of a fine. The inspectors, John Stinson, Mr. Stinson reports that the violations continue to exist. However, I think the last status he's aware of is that the owner was trying to gain possession of the trailer, and he believes that that is still the status, that they're still working on gaining possession, and he's asking to amend to the next cutoff.
Okay.
Well,
We'll come up to the mic. Thanks.
I got clearance to be in the property now, so
Clearance to what? I'm sorry.
I've got clearance to go into the property now inside,
okay.
so we can fix it.
Okay.
And give me like a week, and I'll have it repaired. The shed's gone already. We cleaned up the property all the way around.
Right.
So in about a week, I should have it in compliance.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Stenson? You have anything to say? No? Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, the chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow respondent until August 2nd, 2017 to come into compliance and be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved. Is there such a motion? Motion, Mrs. Himes, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay, good.
I'll call as soon as I have them come over and look at it.
Okay. All right, now, case number 7. Don't go anywhere, Mr. Stinson. CEB 05-17-48, Daytona Ocean Rentals. Is anyone present for that? All right. Mr. Jackson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, you may recall at last meeting the position of staff was request that you continue this to this next meeting, to today's meeting, as we were working out some things with the mortgage company. That's not progressing the way that we needed it to progress. Difficulty with an owner, which has kind of been the history of this property. The recommendation of the city is that we proceed with this case. We recommend a fine be imposed. The property remains in noncompliance. Mr. Stinson's done a recent inspection of the property that remains in noncompliance, and we're asking for a $500 per day fine be imposed to a maximum of $20,000.
Okay.
Do you want that
Effective to the prior meeting, what was the basis of continuing, so that you would have the opportunity to make it effective to last month's meeting if you so chose. Our recommendation is to make it effective as to that meeting.
Okay, that meeting date was
June 8th.
June 8th. Okay.
The compliance date was May 31st. So it could be either 31st or
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that was the cutoff when it was supposed to. Okay. Yeah. 5/31.
Yeah, I feel uncomfortable going back to I don't have a problem going back to our last meeting. We made the decision to make I've got a problem going back to the compliance.
Okay, I get that.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
Right.
I'm more comfortable if you just go back to the last.
Okay. When we made the decision.
We made the decision.
Mr. Jones?
Go back.
This is the one that's near A1A, right?
Yeah.
There's been problems forever,
Mhm.
correct?
Mhm. And
The mortgage company's well aware where we are at this stage. They're still working towards completing a foreclosure. The anticipation is that it's at least set for the final hearing in October. Of course, there's things that they can make effort to do, and they've expressed that they will try and do those in terms of just standard legal procedures, summary judgments, filing for early motions, whether or not the court grant those and allow them to have earlier hearings. Those are things that's not in our control. But ultimately, as we all know, if they reach it to the end, all of the fines disappear. So if we can't get it worked out with the owner, then that's what their alternative is, and that's the one that they're working with as well. So they're progressing in the manner in which it progresses, which is to get it through to a foreclosure and take control of the property or make it available at traditional
He's
sale.
still renting units out there.
Well, I'm sorry?
In the meantime, he's still renting units. There's still people living in there.
The status as we know of it is still the same as it has been, to the best of our knowledge. And there, yes, the city is looking at all other options that are available. We're very much concerned, able and willing to look at things that can possibly be on the table. It's a brainstorming type situation, so I don't have real answers, but I know that there's things that we're all sitting down together and trying to.
So you're actually speaking to the private mortgage holders.
Yes. Well, we're actually speaking to their counsel at this point.
Their counsel.
Because it is in foreclosure, so they have counsel representing them, and we're speaking to their counsel.
Mm-hmm.
We have previously spoken to the.
But they've made no attempt to do anything
No.
to fix up this property or do anything.
They
more.
who,
They're
I'm
not going to
sorry.
do it until they.
And they're not going to do it.
So your recommendation was $1,000 a day.
I think it was $500.
$500 per day.
$500 a day.
To a maximum of
And
$20,000.
going back to the last meeting.
Right.
So it's going to pretty much max out.
Very.
It's just the idea of the foreclosure and what the city can work out. So I would recommend that you do exactly go back to the last meeting, $500 a day.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty comfortable with that. That adds up pretty quickly, since we can only put it up to $20,000, right? Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $500 per day against the respondent, effective as of the last meeting, June 8th, 2017, and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $20,000. Is there such a motion?
Second.
Motion, Mr. Weatherholt, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. All right, case number 8 in compliance. Case number 9. CEB 0617-67, Daytona Beach Club. Good morning, gentlemen. 800 North Atlantic. All right, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Newell's not here?
Swear them, no, Madam Chair, we got an email saying he was not able to be here today. If you all would like to step up to the microphone and state your names, I'll go ahead and swear you in.
Steve Merchant, President, Daytona Beach Club Association, address 9451 Telfer Run, Orlando, Florida.
Stephen Folks, Vice President of Daytona Beach Club, 800 North Atlantic, Unit 502.
You both raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for, lost which one, imposition of a fine. This is a case by the fire inspector, David Newell, and Mr. Newell reports that he recommends that he reports that the property remains in noncompliance, and he says that it should take about, tell it 3 months cutoff to come into compliance, the October cutoff. He gives 2 reasons for this. He says the doors are on order, and as soon as they come in, they are coming to install them. They are replacing around 15 doors. They're going to have to shut the water down to install all 3 backflow devices, so they are coordinating with the city to move the water meters so the meter and backflows can be installed at the same time. They have shown progress on all of the sprinkler repairs, and they're just waiting for a few units to be completed. So this time is necessary for coordinating this overall process, which will be extensive, and waiting for the materials to come. At least from the recommendation of Mr. Newell. And I don't think
The
I have anything
recommendation
further.
is to,
The October cutoff.
which is 10-4. Okay.
Isn't this one of those safety issues that we've always considered a little different than normal repairs?
Well,
with moving with the meters and everything, as long as they're in compliance, with the sprinklers, what they're basically waiting for is, from the city, moving the meters back with the new backflows and the doors. I mean, I think it's not a lot that they can do until then, but I mean, they've been, over the months, been in compliance with pretty much everything else, structural and...
I understand it's still a safety issue.
Yeah, the safety issue, I think that what they said is the sprinklers are done, but they have additional work from the meter and the backflow devices to
Right.
move all of them back.
And what are the, well, I mean, since Mr. Newell isn't here, what doors are we talking about?
Well, and I'm sure that it probably would be better to hear from the respondent, but as he indicates in the stairwell doors do not self-close or latch. Stairwell door panic hardware was not operative. So I'm sure that's what we're talking about, and that would be, of course, additional safety, but I think the question was asked before in terms of, is it to the level of shutdown, life safety type of issue? Mr. Newell didn't feel it was.
Meet the new safety standards.
Okay, I just
To get in and out.
recall a previous case where we sort of continued it on, and 2 days later the place caught fire.
Okay. Gentlemen.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Harrington, I appreciate your concern, sir. And let me answer to those a bit more, because I think that I certainly felt the same way, sir, and we take this very seriously. The doors, sir, we had worked on the doors as far as the framing to get them to close, and came to the decision that that was ineffective. So we got the quotes, and we have actually already paid for, and I have signed paperwork. It was all sent to Inspector Newell in advance of the meeting. He confirmed that he had received everything he'd request. But for example, the 12 doors are all getting replaced, including new frames. The board committed. I have signed contracts that I signed personally for over $30,000 for that. The 3, and with that, because that is very concerning, we even offered to pay for any expedited express or anything that we could do to get it here as quickly as possible. I was notified last evening, because we wanted to follow up on this and have the most current information on this. The doors have actually arrived at the door company here. They expect to have them delivered to the association over the next 2 to 3 days, is what I was told in the briefing last night. When the doors come in, our maintenance person is prepared immediately to paint around the framing of the door to protect it for long term, and they're ready to start the installation right away, is my understanding. Other issues that I believe were of true concern was that we were not testing our fire log, because it had been pointed out there was a bearing issue with our fire pump. That has been paid for and already repaired and up and running. And we met with Inspector Newell On Monday of this week, I came up and met personally and went over each of the items, and certainly in the meeting, my personal feeling was he was very pleased with the progress in all aspects of it. The sprinkler repair had already been completed. Part of it was to do new hangers around the piping. It's already been completed as far as that. I have documentation of a fire panel inspection that was in January, and the repairs were completed in February 26th of 17. The doors we've already addressed. The backflows, so it's not my understanding that that was a safety issue. It's a statute change requiring that the backflows get installed. They weren't installed when the property was installed. And with that, I'm much more of a backflow expert today than I would have been before. And we actually have 3 backflows at the property. We've paid for all 3 backflows, or we have 3 places that require a backflow. We've paid for the backflows to be installed, and there's one for our domestic line that comes in. There's one for a line that goes to our pool separately. And then there's a fire sprinkler backflow. All 3 have already been paid for and committed under signed contracts that were turned in to Mr. Newell. And we have them in our possession as well to provide here today. Every single item on the inspection that we went down with Officer Newell when he was there, Inspector Newell, the piping, the fire pump and piping system that comes in the thing, some of it was corroded. We've paid for that to totally be replaced. Every aspect of this. When I stood here at the last meeting, I said, when I walk out this door, I'll go immediately and start action. And we went right to the association, initiated action on every step of this. Most of these contracts were all signed on June the 20th. To take action, and every single thing is moving as fast as we can, just relying on permitting and the workers in front of us.
Very good.
If there was a fire issue, trust me, the fire inspector.
Right, that's what
would be here.
I mean, if Mr. Newell is satisfied, at this point, I'm going to have to rely on his judgment, and that's.
And Madam Chair, if I can say as well, we've been working
Plus
with these
we have been
responders for
right.
more than a year, and
Well,
they have been,
we're
I
getting
mean,
there.
not specifically this case, but in other cases as well.
Right.
And they have been consistent in their
Right.
reporting, and
Right.
their outcomes have been consistent, and there's no reason that I would
Okay.
question what he's telling me.
All right.
Need a motion.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow respondent until 10/4/17 to come into compliance and be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved. Is there such a motion? Motion, Mr. Jones, second, Ms. Himes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay. All right. Where are we now? We are on case number 10, CEB 06-1768, J-Pop's property. Anyone here for that? This is another Mr. Newell property, who is not here. Mr. Jackson, what can you tell us?
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. Mr. Newell recommends, says that the property remains in noncompliance. He recommends that we amend to the August cutoff. His information reports that the fire alarm panel still needs some repairs, and he's working with the contractor to install the strobe. This is an old panel, and it's difficult to find replacement parts. So the challenge for the respondent is it is an old panel, difficult to find replacement parts, but they're working with a contractor to get everything installed, and he's asking to give them till next cutoff. Well, I said next cutoff. He said the August cutoff.
Well, that isn't, yeah, that's the next
That is
cutoff.
next cutoff?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Chair will entertain, any questions from the board? Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow respondent until August 2nd, 2017 to come into compliance and be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion? All right, motion, Mr. Weatherholt, second, Mrs. Himes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. 11 and 12 are in compliance. Case number 13, CEB 05-17-41. Michael Malik, he here? No. All right. Mr. Jackson and Mr. Garcia.
One second.
Okay. This case, I'm just going to say, they were first notified in February. Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. You had the issue of a damaged roof and weather pole and uprooted tree. The inspector is Daniel Garcia. Mr. Garcia reports that the tree has been removed, and they're still hiring a contractor to handle the other work, presumably the damaged roof. And the inspector is asking that we amend to the next cutoff, and I will tender Mr. Garcia for any other further factual questions about the status of the case.
Okay, Mr. Garcia. How many times have you spoken to Mr. Malik, the owner?
Good morning, Neighborhood Service Inspector
Sorry.
Garcia. Credentials on file.
Okay.
I actually spoke to him a few days ago.
Okay.
I did the reinspection.
Where does he live? Does he live on that property?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
I spoke to him on the property. I did a reinspection verifying that the tree has been removed, which it has. I took photos of it. He chose to do the tree first because he said that the neighbor was complaining about it from day one, which was true. I was getting numerous calls about that. But the issue, the main issue, it's a big safety issue, which is the pole. And during the reinspection, I found that the columns in the front that hold the top of the roof portion in the front it's deteriorating. So it is a safety issue to me. I spoke to his wife. His wife stated that she's coming upon some money, and that she's going to be able to, get the permits and all. But permits are still not even applied for.
They aren't applied for?
They have not been applied for.
So I see this date of February 2nd. This wasn't like hurricane damage. This was prior to, in February. This is when this was an issue. What was an issue? February.
Yeah, it was hurricane damage with the
that
the
would
tree.
have been hurricane
The tree
damage.
uprooted.
Okay, that's right. Okay. So February 2nd, 2017. It's been an issue for 6 months now.
Did any have some issues with the homeowners?
No, he is the homeowner.
No, I mean the association.
It was a neighbor. It was
Neighbor.
reported by neighbors. And owner was supposed to be in today. I spoke to him. He said he would be. I don't know why he's not.
And what is your recommendation?
Well, based on the fact that she was saying that they were going to, with this money that she came across, that they were going to pull the permits, but we'll see by next cutoff if nothing's done and we're fine certain.
They hadn't hired a contractor yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
For permits or anything.
Well, he'd have to pull permits.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is structural contractor have to do it.
Yes.
Any other thoughts on this? My thought is that I'm not willing to.
I think a fine should be
Wait.
instead of waiting.
Didn't we all say that Matthew Damage is delayed in getting help for it?
But it's been delayed for a long time. Well, I'm going to make a motion. The chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $50 per day against the respondent effective today, July 13th, 2017, and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $10,000. Is there such a motion?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Weatherholt, second by Mrs. House. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries.
None opposed?
None opposed. All right, let's move on to case number 14, CEB 0617-70, Darrell Rice. Mr. Rice present? I think he had shown up before.
I believe so.
Okay. Come forward, be sworn in. Good morning.
Good morning.
State your name, please, sir. Can you state your name, please?
Darrell Rice.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jackson. We'll hear from Mr. Jackson and code people first, and then we'll listen to you. So you can just have a seat right there. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you from position of finding Inspector Stanley Garcia. Mr. Garcia reports that the property remains in noncompliance. He acknowledged that the respondent has been making progress, has been working on it. The progress has been very slow, however. He's wrestling with the thought of it possibly being insufficient, and if that's but he's not sure what other efforts this respondent will make to increase the effort and get this thing done. If whatever he's saying today isn't satisfactory to you, our recommendation is $200 per day fine to a maximum of $10,000. But we're willing to acknowledge that he's been doing some work. It's just that it's not sufficient enough to say that, to tell you that it's adequate. And I tend to Mr. Garcia if you have any questions to Mr. Garcia specific, but Ms. Garcia indicates his interest in hearing what the respondent is saying today.
Okay. Shall we hear, Mr. Garcia, do you want to speak after the respondent talks, or anybody
Sure.
have a question for Mr. Garcia right now? All right, Mr. Rice, please come forward.
Yes, we've been making a lot of progress, and it's been spending $500 or $600 monthly, and right now there's a trailer in the yard with gravel and mulch, and I've rented space and moved in storage a trailer and moved it from the front to the back, and conferred with Danny about it back through the gates, painting the gates, and the pictures of the fence is about 75% done. But I'm now 100% disabled, and I can only work about half an hour to an hour a day. But getting some help from friends or volunteers and relatives. We're even staining the driveway. I've got a couple $100 worth of stain. So I'm, in the progress of listing it possibly with Charlie LaCour, a realtor, Buddy LaCour's brother, and or selling it, real close to doing that, and finishing things I told the new possible buyer I'm doing, and just met with him, and I can give you his name, Shane.
No, we don't need that thing.
Okay. But I had some questions on with Danny, and called him yesterday. He didn't return my call.
All right.
I have no message.
Well,
but anyway, I really am wanting to do that, everything, and more, because I was already doing it. And I wanted to, we've got work tables
a lot
there.
of things that you addressed just now weren't even on this list.
That's what I mean.
Well,
We're doing it all.
What we're going to address is what's on this list.
Okay, I want to address that. There is no junk vehicles there. There is race car parts of a nose and a fender of the 2012 Daytona 500, because some sponsors stayed at my house and gave those to me, which I'm going to donate
Okay.
to Living
All right.
Legends.
Okay. Do you
And
have your address numbers up?
They
There's
have
no
been
address
up,
numbers.
but
Okay.
that was a mistake, mine too, because they're kind
So,
of
and you're
blocked.
parked in the right place now?
Yes, my number.
So your address is up, you've stopped illegal parking. How about the roof damage?
Yeah, there's one more. The artificial tile, which is a lightweight red, like a facade at Taco Bell. There's one piece missing on the carport, the
Okay.
south carport. But I am doing more and over and above everything as I continue. But there are work tables, which technically is clutter in the work in
Okay.
progress.
Could we see these pictures again, please?
Yeah, I was going to ask what date are those?
Yes, these are current.
Those are current?
Yeah.
That one is not, because I moved the trailer. And that's why I wanted to talk to him yesterday.
I think the code enforcement board is covering the dates.
Yeah.
With that trailer, no.
July 11th.
July
Okay.
11th, okay.
Yeah, all the big lamps, I've got 5 out of 6 of them done. And they're decorative lamps like I did around the corner by the
Okay,
Live
all
Oak
right.
Inn.
Thank you very much.
And
Mr. Garcia, are you satisfied that after this that there's progress been made? Enough progress?
No, ma'am. If I may,
Okay.
the main issue we have here is a large amount of outside storage. That's the main amount, the biggest issue. We have vehicles that have been moved around. Sometimes they'll come in compliance, where they'll move from the spot that they're at, and then they'll be back. There's several times he has trailers where he fills up with the outside storage, and I think what it's doing is just moving them around. I don't know if they're removing them or not. The roof, as you see in this picture here, the vehicle towards the left, under the carport, or that overhang, I told him that's not, I don't think it's registered. I have not been up to it, but it's not registered. He wants to keep it there. I told him it has to be either registered or removed. There's vehicles come and go all the time, and they're parked on the grass and whatnot. So
those
Okay.
are helpers mostly.
the roof, it's not been done. There's buckets on the roof, items on the roof. On the other side of the building, off of a different street, there's trailer in the driveway. There's doors, windows. There's just a lot of stuff there that needs to be taken.
Moved backward. And
Well, I'm sorry. Just
Excuse
wait
me.
1 second.
And
Let
as he
Mr.
said,
Garcia
he's taking care of items. He's taking care of things, but things that he's not, that I didn't ask him to. The main thing is the outside
Exactly.
storage, the vehicles, the roof.
Exactly.
The
That's all
number
we're
the number
concerned
is
with.
available. You can see the numbers now because they were covered with all the stuff, but now you can see that it's
All
there.
right. Do we have any questions from the board for Mr. Garcia? You can make one more statement, and then we're going to move forward.
Buckets on the roof, I'm doing preventive maintenance, not a new roof, with the square aluminum with the rubber in the middle to fit
Whatever,
over
okay.
7 or 8 vents, preventive maintenance. They will be coming down in a I'm multitasking with a lot of things.
Yeah, well.
And the double gates, I'm painting them.
All right.
On each.
Okay.
Can I finish?
That's it. You're repeating yourself. So I'd like to move forward with this. The chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $200 per day against the respondent effective today, July 13th, 2017, and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $10,000. Is there such a motion? Motion, Mrs. Himes.
Second.
Second, Mr. Harrington. All in favor say aye. Aye. Like sign opposed. Motion carries.
I would like to request
No, we're finished with the case
man-
now. Thank you.
A one-on-one.
No,
with-
no one-on-ones. We're finished with the case. All right, let's move on to case number 15, CEB 06-17-71. Shannon Shawan, care of Jessica Ciccarelli at 357 Seneca. Respondent present? No. All right. Mr. Jackson, Mr. Garcia.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. Mr. Garcia is reporting that there's some substantial changes going on at the property. He'd like to tell you about them and make a recommendation of where we should go next on this.
Neighborhood Services Inspector Garcia, City of Daytona Beach, credentials on file. This property has a lien on it in a previous case for the roof, if you remember. I now had cited it for the garage door, parking on the grass, and outside storage and trash and debris. The trash and debris was cleaned up. The vehicle has been removed, and the garage door has been removed now. What happened is now is that there is a new owner coming in place, and they're doing a major amount of work to rehab this place. So I'd like to see if we can. I thought someone was going to be here to state that they were going to be the new owner, and Mike Fitzgerald is actually working on the demolishing part, but they put a hold on that.
Demolishing what? The house?
It was supposed to be demolished, but they put a hold on it because of the new buyer, and the new buyer even stated that she was going to pay off the lien.
So, what kind of lien is on the house? One of our liens?
Yes.
A code. We already have a code lien on this house.
Correct.
That's the satisfaction you sign.
Okay, that's the. Oh, so, all right. So this is the one. Okay, so they paid the liens.
How much was it?
No, they.
Yeah, they did.
Not yet.
Yes.
Oh, they have?
Yeah, I
Oh,
sent
okay.
that to you.
That's right.
So they paid the code lien.
In amount of
10,000.
10,000.
The whole amount.
That's the only reason why I said to
Okay.
amend, just to get this new owner
Now,
on
are there
board.
still squatters there?
No, there isn't.
No squatters there. So is it Ciccarelli that Ms. Ciccarelli that's taking care of the property? I mean, the new owner. Who's
Not-
the new owner?
See if I don't have any information on that. I just spoke to someone
Let me
that
see this.
The new owner has title now? I mean, they are the owner?
I don't believe so. I don't think
So
it's
the
in.
new buyer.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
No, he does. That's fine. That's fine. We'll get it squared away.
So if we don't know, that's not really relevant.
We'll get it squared away.
We got $10,000.
We got somebody paid off the lien.
Right. Who paid
What
that
we
lien
found,
off,
what
Amy?
we do know is someone of great interest is involved in the property, doing some work, and was willing to pay off the lien. And so it's our belief, at least, that it would be beneficial to allow them the time to finish doing the work.
Do some, yeah.
And since they are making good progress,
I would have
and
liked it if
immediate
somebody would have
progress.
shown up today. That would have,
Yeah,
helped
someone's
our
supposed to.
decision.
Excuse me. The check from the title company says the buyer's name is Ocean Holding Group LLC. So that was the purchaser.
Ocean,
Ocean Holding.
Group LLC.
so is it normal for somebody that doesn't own a property to pay off a lien?
It was paid at closing.
Oh, so it has
It
closed?
has closed.
And there is a new owner?
That's what I just read off the check for the from the title
So
company.
we do know who the
paying
owner-
off
the
the
owner
closing.
is-
Who's the new owner?
The new
Holding.
owner is
Know
Ocean
anything done yet?
Holding.
Can we
Says-
notice those people?
Seller Sharon
Shawan.
buyer Ocean Holding Group LLC.
Right.
On this
Yeah,
copy
Right.
of this
Then we need
check
to- we
that I
need to not
received for the
take-
amount of the.
We need to notice the new owner.
So
And we can't take any action against
that
the
leads
owner
me to
today.
believe it was.
Okay. All right, so I think we need to get a few kinks worked out of this one. So I think that we should amend the previous order and get them back in here next month. Is that
I think that's
satisfactory?
fair, yeah.
Add Ocean.
The new owners in here.
Yeah,
New owners.
make sure everybody's noticed properly. And all right, the chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow the, shall we say, new noticed respondent until the next cutoff date to come into compliance or be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved.
And further add the new owner, Ocean Holding Group LLC.
And add, yes, the new owner, Ocean Holding Group LLC, to the complaint. Is there such a motion?
Yeah, the problem we got with that motion is that the law says you got to give the new owner an opportunity to cure. You're finding them already.
Right.
No.
No.
We're amending.
We amended
Just
it.
amending it.
Yes.
Right.
So we're not
Just
going to do
amend
anything.
it. No.
Correct.
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I want to make sure we don't fight them today.
Right.
that's all.
No, we're not, no.
Okay,
We're
good.
amending it till
Good, so
next.
that'll be next month. Okay.
Right.
You okay with that, Jed?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't think it hurts anything if when they show up, if they have some reason that we're misreading or misunderstanding something, they can clarify it.
Right.
But the record, at least the public records, seem to
Right.
reflect what we're
Okay.
understand. Well, at least the records what we've received seems
As
to
long as
reflect
we're
what we
finding them
understand.
today, we're okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we're
Mr.
not.
Garcia, outside storage is taken care of and parking?
Well,
and
because of all the construction now, we got outside storage again. But that was the whole reason for me amending, was to allow the new owners to get on board and do what they got to do.
Okay. All right. So, is there a motion? Motion, Mr. Weatherholt. Second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign post. Motion carries. All right. Case 16 and 17 are in compliance. Case 18, CEB 0617-75, April Wilson at 951 North Street. Anyone present for this case? All right, this is Mr. Sanders. And we'll hear from Mr. Jackson and Mr. Sanders.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is Jerry Sanders. Mr. Sanders reports that this property remains in noncompliance. There's been no contact from the respondent. Mr. Sanders is requesting that a fine be imposed of $250 per day to a maximum of $15,000. And he's asking for a one-time $250 fee for the no business tax receipt as well. And I turn to Mr. Sanders if you have any further factual questions.
Good morning. Jerry
Good morning.
Sanders.
Hi.
Neighborhood Services. My credentials are on file with the city.
Are there tenants in here?
They're still in there, yes. They're still renting the property out.
And so it hasn't been trespassed or anything?
No.
Okay.
The lady that's staying there, she is paying her rent so she doesn't get evicted.
Mhm.
So she continues to pay, and she's the one that signed the consent to let me in to do the inspection of the property.
You know how much she's paying a month?
I didn't ask. I have a copy of the lease. I don't know if you could tell on the lease, but it's on the lease.
Is this, now, before we looked at this, I know that I had a question about the safety of this building. Sure hasn't gotten better. Has it gotten worse?
There's nothing been done to the house. And as far as I know, we went through the rainy season, the roof's still leaking, and, you know, they're still living in that condition.
What are you showing us now?
That is the copy of the lease, and it's fuzzy there. It's really not a good picture, but there's one part, if we could focus in, but it's her name, and she signed when
tenant.
she signed. Yeah, the
Kevin
tenant.
hasn't tried any her own things, like a letter, withholding rent, that kind of
Well,
those
she
options.
continues to pay the rent. I don't know if she went to legal services. She was advised to do that if she felt, you know.
Yeah, there are some options for under 83.
Right.
It won't involve us.
But
Let's remove the question.
All right. Well, how, do you feel it's safe for someone, or is it? I mean, I have real questions about the safety of this and the conditions that someone is living in, whether it's voluntary or not. Whether she's living there voluntarily or not is kind of immaterial to me.
Yeah.
I have questions about the safety of this building.
Yeah, Madam Chair, under our current code, that's an ultimate decision of the chief building official. I think it remains that even as we're amending it now to add additional criterias. But so that's something we can follow up on and see what decision is made by the chief building official. But at this time, that's not a decision that this inspector is able to make.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you think $250 a day is going to do anything?
I think
Or is
that's
this a larger one?
As long as you've tried to make contact with the owner, sent them a letter.
I sent them certified mail, and it was returned. And I also posted the property, and then we posted with the notice of hearing. And I also spoke with the tenant and told her to tell the landlord to please contact me so we could get this taken care of.
Okay.
So we're looking for their choose 200.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
So, all right, so no one, correct stove, I mean, there's so many things wrong in here that to me are safety issues that I would like to know if there's an alternative for us other than just slapping a fine on them.
Not for us.
Not for us.
For yes, not for
So
us.
that's for the, well, I mean, okay.
Do they ask her to vacate the place and we're going to find a place for her to live? You want to do that?
Well, you can look at this picture here. And can we back that picture up, please? This is a 220 service that's hanging off the wall. So,
Yeah, our only strength of, Madam Chair, members of the board, under Chapter 162, our benefit of the knowledge of even our concerns of life safety is just accelerating the time for things to be remedied and being authorized to take, further actions that will require still for us to either get either court orders or primary administrative action from the building official, whatever authority. The authority from right now is the commission, but it's before the commission that it will be the chief building official. So at this time, even if we see things that are of great significance, the limits of Chapter 162, in my mind, is only accelerating what needs to be done and the extent of the penalties. I think we've already dealt with the issue of time periods, and we see that time periods aren't working. And I think the only thing, and you can see what Charlie says, but I think the only thing y'all have left is the ability to fine. And, of course, make the letters and recommendations of city action, which you can do,
Well,
what
that's
you've done
what
in
I'm
the past.
thinking about doing. I mean, I know that we can request.
Certainly. And
Could we request that the building inspectors go into this building?
You can take a look at it.
And take a look at it.
We can't tell what to do.
No, I said, can we request
Yeah,
that they
there's
do
nothing wrong
that?
with that. There's a section 162 where you can enter any orders that you need to enter to get somebody in compliance.
So
that'll help. That'll help.
I have a question.
But it doesn't trump the Fourth Amendment, so we still would have to take some actions to get authority.
Well, we can do both, correct? I mean, it doesn't have to be an
You can
either
fine,
or.
and you can ask the building inspector to look at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
We're ruling on this case. As far as the safety particular issue you're talking about, is there no requirement of the code inspector to notify the building department when he sees something like that? Or do you just keep waiting a month before somebody gets electrocuted before it comes to this board?
I would suspect if any official of the city, if they see something that's dangerous to a citizen or the public, that they will report it to the proper folks with the authority to take an action.
I would think something would be in the works right now.
Okay. Well, we're going to request that it does get in the works. All right. I'm going to fashion a motion here.
Madam Chair, just to let you know, the compliance date for this was June 25th. We did shorten the compliance date if you wanted to impose the fine.
Yeah, we do. Well, I do. June 25th. Yeah. We were trying to get this something moving here. All right, let me see what I can do here. The chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $250 per day against the respondent effective June 25th, 2017, and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $15,000. The board further entertains a motion to impose a one-time $250 administration fee and requests that the building department inspect the property.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Harrington, second by Mr. Weatherholtz. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay. That makes me feel better. All right.
Madam
Case.
Chair, if you would like just to go back for 1 second, I did pull up a recorded warranty deed for the previous case. And
Okay, good.
It is Ocean Holding Group LLC. The deed was recorded July 6th.
Okay, great.
You do have the right response.
Okay. All right, case number 19, CEB 1776, Gillis and Yoko Creech. No respondents, all right? Mr. Jackson and Mr. Sanders.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is Jerry Sanders. Mr. Sanders reports that this property remains in noncompliance. He's had no contact from the respondent. My note indicates that the board previously authorized securing the property. Our desire now is for a $250 a day fine to be imposed to a maximum of $15,000.
Okay.
And I tend to Mr. Sanders if you have any further factual questions.
Is the property secured? No?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Did we order it secured?
No.
We asked.
I don't think we did. Have we asked for it to be secured?
The note, it appears that you all have authorized us to secure it.
Okay.
So we just,
And
for
it
whatever
hasn't been
purpose,
yet.
it
Okay.
hadn't happened at this point.
Okay.
But it has been authorized.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. So the chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $250 per day against the respondent effective today, July 13th, 2017, and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $15,000. Such a motion? Mrs. Himes made the motion. Mr. Jones made the second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Like sign opposed. Motion carries. All right, we'll move on to our new cases. Case 20 in compliance. Case 21 is 7/17/79, John B. Clark, 726 Rawlings Court. Mr. Clark?
Yes, ma'am.
Please come forward and be sworn in.
Good morning. Can you state your name, please, for the record?
John B. Clark.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, if you'll be seated, we'll allow Code to speak first. All right, Mr. Jackson and Mr. Stenson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance or noncompliance. This arose while the inspector was inspecting other property. It's not a complaint generated. It's the property remains in noncompliance. The inspector is recommending next cutoff for the property to come into compliance.
Okay.
Inspector, as you said, is Mr. Stinson. If you have any further questions regarding factual questions.
All right, Mr. Stinson, this building, this property is being cited for no permit for building renovations. Have any been done?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
John Stinson,
Okay.
Code Inspector with the city. My qualifications are on file. This property has been in this state for quite some time. In fact, I do recall having a case on this property probably back in 2007, 2008. However, the house did sit secure for a long period of time. It was boarded up. Now, all of a sudden, there's work being done on the property, and there's no permits applied for or issued for the property, which is the reason for the stop work order to be issued.
Who's the owner of record?
Mr. John B. Clark.
Who's here? All right, we'll let him speak and then What can you tell us, Mr. Clark?
I just bought the property a short time ago, number one. Number two.
When did you buy the property?
Ma'am?
When did you buy the property?
I think it was May, April or May.
Okay. In the spring, okay.
And I came down and asked the people downstairs, and I don't need a permit for paint and tile. That's all I was doing. I'm not ready to do anything to the property yet. So I was doing, when this officer was there, my guy was tiling. I mean, they're doing no more than tile. This, as you can see by the house, I mean, it needs a lot of work.
Does anyone live in the house?
No.
Okay.
It's not a house, it's actually a triplex.
It's a triplex, okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no power, there's no water, it hasn't been there, I think.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
And it's secured.
What does that mean?
No one can get in or out easily.
No one can get in.
Right.
Well, I take that back.
Well, I mean,
they keep breaking in. I
Right.
mean, I'm faced with.
But it's a secure.
Yes.
It's
As
boarded
long
up.
as I'm there every day, and I'm there every day.
Okay.
Have you been to the trespass arrest site?
I have gone to the police. That doesn't do any good.
How long
because
do you think it would take you to get this property into compliance?
Well, I'm scared to say because if I'm not in compliance, I don't want to be back here. I'm going to start working.
We're looking for compliance,
Okay.
obviously.
Okay.
We're also looking to help you get there.
That's what I need. I need help. My problem
Because that's what we do. Is that we want properties in compliance.
What
That's
we're looking for is something to show that it's progressing, like
Right.
permits,
Well,
applying for permits or something.
I don't want to say right now because next door is in the same shape as mine. And I was actually going to try to buy it so I could start both. But they're applying for a permit, from what I gather. So I'm waiting to see what's actually going to happen
no,
there.
yeah, no. I mean, that's a separate,
Okay.
completely separate.
Okay, then my next problem that I have is I've been to the police many times trying to get the bums out of my place. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I can't explain to you how bad it is in my area. I can't explain to you how bad the trash is on the streets.
No, well, we appreciate those
Well,
factors.
I mean, I need help on too.
I know, but that's beyond this board, and it's an issue for the police.
Are you
Go
going to?
ahead.
You can't.
Wait a minute.
Did you?
No.
Did I hear you correctly? You did say you have a no trespassing sign.
I have many no trespassing, and I've been to the police. Yes, I've been to the police and made it a no trespassing where they're warned and they can be taken to jail if they don't leave.
That's what we need. Okay,
So I
that's
have
good.
that in
Okay.
place.
Madam Chair, if I can
Yeah, go ahead.
state, at least the inspector indicates that they hadn't actually had contact, so it may be very beneficial getting with the inspector and they can figure out what all he needs.
My question is, you're going to have a contractor or contractors do this repair work when you eventually get to it?
I'm going to have myself and then a contractor, but I will be in charge of doing it.
But the contractor will pull the permits?
No, I will.
You will pull the permits?
Yes, sir.
Is this an investment property that you're
It
planned
is, yes.
to rent out?
Yes. I mean,
Where do you live now, sir?
I live in Port Orange.
You do?
Yes, sir.
You know, unless, if you're not gonna be the resident, you're not gonna be able to pull permits because it's commercial account, unless you're a general contractor.
I'm not a general contractor.
You'll have to have a contractor to pull permits.
Okay.
And, so with that in mind, you know, getting with the inspector, well, really, it's not the inspector. It's saying that you're gonna pull the permits or do something with it, and, because he's not gonna be able to tell you what's out of compliance with the building, maybe on the outside.
Well, all right. Look, I'm looking at the case, and the violation is no permit for building renovations. That's,
I don't know which gentleman was here, but all you saw him doing was tile, I guarantee it. That's all he was doing.
all right, Mr. Stenson, would you come explain what that means, please? Because that's what's in front of us. The rest of it is not in front of us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This property, like I stated before, there's a prior case, probably in 2007, 2008, for multiple violations on the property. Since then, the property was secured and remained vacant up until this gentleman, I assume, started to work on it, aside from the occasional break-in from a vagrant. These pictures are showing when it was boarded up, tarps on the roof, all of this dilapidation is still there. Now, if you see on the right of these pictures, you've got new vehicles, work equipment, compressors. The gentleman who was actually, as he stated, was inside doing tile work, did not grant me access to the inside, but he did mention right there on site that that was not the only work being done, because the roof work was about to begin and the rest of the structural work that needs to be done on the property was already in the process of being done.
Okay.
And that's how we came to the point of work
now
without
I
permits.
understand. Okay.
So did you explain to the owner that he has to have licensed contractors and they have to pull the permits to do this work?
This is the first time I have seen the current owner.
Okay, so we're speaking to the owner now.
Oh,
All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, I'm going to entertain a motion to find respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date, which is August 2nd, 2017, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion? All right, motion, Mr. Weatherholt, second, Mrs. Himes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. So you need permits for your work. You speak to your inspector, and he will tell you what you need to do to come into compliance.
I think I should be given the time to respond to your...
You can come back
Well, that's not fair.
next month.
That's not fair.
You're not being fined today.
You're not being fined today.
I understand that part, but I should have the opportunity to find out what my legal, I don't think he knows the legal aspects of what you've just said.
Yeah, yes, he does. He understands it, and he will explain it to you and tell you what you need, what needs to be done.
You have the inspector's phone, right? You have his card? Just be in touch with him.
Okay. Uh-huh. Case number 22CB07-17-80, Marvin Large. Respondent present? No. Mr. Jackson and Mr. Sanders.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for a determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspectors, Jerry Sanders, Mr. Sanders' report said the property remains in non-compliance. He's had no contact from the respondent, the owner. He notes that there are transients on the lot, and code has attempted to send paperwork to the owner to sign up for the trespass arrest site, but as indicated, he's received no kind of communication from the owner. So we're asking for the property to be brought into compliance by next cutoff.
Okay. Any questions? All right, the chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in noncompliance in order the respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date, which is August 2nd, 2017, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
Second.
Motion, Mr. Jones, second, Mr. Harrington. All in favor say aye. Like sign opposed. Motion carries. All right, case number 23. CB 0717-81, Beach Apartments LLC. Respondents present, good morning.
I'm David Lead, architect, and I'll be, I'm working for the owner.
Is the owner going to be testifying at all?
Are you going to testify, sir? You don't have to.
No.
But it's up to you.
We'll do it just in case.
All right.
Okay, so just come and tell us your name and be sworn in.
I'm Vito Provost,
Can you spell your
managing
I'm sorry, can you spell your last name for me, please?
PROBORSZCZ. I'm managing member of Beach Apartments.
Okay. You both raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Sir?
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
All right. We'll hear from Mr. Sanders and Mr. Jackson first, and then we'll allow you to speak.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance or noncompliance. The inspector reports that the property remains in noncompliance. He also indicates that this will be a major project. He's not quite sure, and we probably want to hear from Mr. Lee on a time frame. He's not sure when would be a good compliance date. He can tell you that we probably need a progress report next month. And I will attend to Mr. Sanders if you have any further questions to Mr. Sanders. Or
Okay. All right, I'm looking at all the premises, identification, protected structural members. There's a lot of work here, right? Okay. That it looks. So this work has all been done with or without permits.
Without the benefit of a permit.
That's why the stop work issued
Yes, ma'am.
order.
Originally, this case was actually passed on to me by Officer Fitzgerald. They were going to condemn the property, but the owner took responsibility and had good intentions to rebuild, and we had to stop that, and we had to make him aware he needed to get the permits, and that's why Mr. Lee's here today.
And I realized that. Does that say anything in here that there's a stop?
No.
Stop work order.
I know there's a stop work order, but
The stop work order is a separate case.
Oh.
And this is the original case, and I have the stop work order under another case.
Okay. That hasn't come forward to us, or it already?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because we're giving him time to get all his permits.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lee?
I inspected the property last week, so
Uh-huh.
I'm familiar with it. I spent about an hour and a half down there, and actually did a pretty good job. Just didn't get the permit. Anyway, I told him, don't do anything until we get a permit. So that part has been taken care of.
Taken care of in what respect?
He's not going to do anything until we get a permit.
So you've stopped work, basically.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, what we have to do basically is we have to get the survey recertified. We have to go out and measure the building and then do drawings. Check with the city if there's any other things that they want that I don't know about right now. Submit those drawings to the city. They have to run through the permit process. And when that is done, then we can start construction. So we're probably looking maybe 3 months.
From start to finish?
Mm-hmm. It's you never know what's going to happen along the way,
Correct.
but that's pretty much what my time frame.
Are you
Hopefully I can get it done sooner.
Are you the contractor or an architect?
I'm the architect.
You're the architect.
Yeah.
So the contractor will be pulling the permits.
Whatever the city requires. Yeah.
How large of a structure is that? How many square feet?
How many square feet?
Approximately.
1,000. Yeah, 1,000 per floor. There's a basement area and a second floor.
So, Mr. Provorces, how do you say your last name? Say it for me. I want to know how to pronounce it. Provost. Okay. Provost. Okay, got it. How long have you owned this building?
Well, since 2009.
2009. Okay.
You own other properties as well in the LLC?
Well, there are 3 buildings on the property next to each other. 211, 215, and 219.
Okay. And that's the total sum of all the properties that you are that are listed under Beach Apartments LLC?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what is the recommendation? The code, please.
Madam Chair, we're okay with the 90 days that Mr. Lee has indicated with progress reports for the interim in between months, just to make sure it's getting done. I mean, it's things that will need to be checked off, like, we have the permits, yes, we're getting started, and yes, we're done. So we're okay with that time period as long as we have the progress reports.
Right. Any more questions?
Will the same people that started this process without a permit, will they be the ones that you're going to use to complete it?
Yeah, they're going to
Can
be.
you step up to the microphone, please, sir? Thank you.
I'm in the process of talking to contractors, licensed contractors at this time, and they're waiting for my architect to finish the job.
Right, but who started the process? Is it the same people you're talking to now about continuing the job?
No, sir.
Thank you.
The architect's going to have to certify anything that's done right now, the work that has been done. The biggest thing now is, since there is going to be a time span until you get started, is the building secure?
Yes, it is.
And that's the inspector is secure and everything?
Yeah, he's closed all the doors, but, as far as the dug-up holes, I haven't been to see if they're covered. He put the covers, so he said. But when he left that day, he did secure the whole place where nobody could go in.
Secure, and the architect's going to certify what's ever built there and new plans or whatever. I don't see a problem with a month-to-month progress report of what they're doing.
Code enforcement things disrupt your entire office, so the quicker it gets done, the happier I am. So.
All right. Any other comments? Chair will entertain a motion to find the respondent in noncompliance and order a progress report starting at the next meeting and allow respondent until the October cutoff date to come into compliance or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
Second.
Motion, Mr. Weatherholt, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, I think case number 24 is in compliance, and that ends the part of our agenda. Is there any? I have a little miscellaneous business. I just wanted to inform Mr. Harrington and Mr. Jones, if they don't know, that your terms are up in August. So we'd really like you to reapply.
Are they going to send us a notice? Or
No, this is your notice.
This is our notice.
And you can't just hit the button anymore, because I think your applications need, I had to refill out my application.
I guess you got to get with Betty.
It's online. Can you do that? Or go see Miss Betty Goodman.
You
She
can get
will
it right out front here.
But yeah, Betty, yeah.
Why do you want to be on the board? Because I'm a good citizen.
Yeah. One other thing, Madam Clerk, Madam
Yep,
Chairman.
go ahead.
We talked about this, her and Ms. Luigi and I last week. I think we should institute a policy where we go down the list of who's here and get to them first. Mr. Lead had to stay here to the end of the meeting. A lot of people weren't here, didn't care about him being here, got taken care of. He had to wait to the end. Again, it's a suggestion. We would go through the agenda, whoever's here, take them in order, don't want to go crazy all over the place, and get them done first. But
Madam
that's just a
Chairman?
thought.
I've suggested that
Yeah.
5 times.
Yes, you have, and it is my,
Now, some people deserve to be waiting.
well, I'm sorry, everyone's here for the reason that they're not in compliance with code, so I'm not having a whole hard time feeling sorry for anyone. I appreciate the fact that people come here and are there to do work when they want to do work. But I find it less confusing and actually quicker instead of flipping back and forth to go through. I am willing to, if there's an attorney that has
You've been doing that. That's you've been doing
a case in court. If they have a case in court, if they don't have a case in court, that's fine with me for them to wait. Or if there's a police officer or someone who's working a job that needs to be back on their job for the safety of our citizens, I'm willing to hear that case first. That doesn't happen that often. But the rest of it, I mean, people aren't here because they've done something right. I guess it's a presumption on my part to think that. They may be perfectly right.
So you're saying if someone does come up, just bring it to your attention and
Yes.
try to accommodate them.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's, in this particular case, it's the chairman's prerogative to decide what order, if she wants to jump the agenda or not, and then she'll have to make that judgment.
I agree with that.
Okay.
It's the chairman's prerogative.
I
Okay.
agree with you totally, but to me, sometimes we see one person sit out there.
Yes.
To the end, sometimes 2 hours.
Yes, I agree.
And the people that were being called were not even here.
Right. So I would be willing to look at a situation
Okay.
like that as well. I
Compromise,
didn't
yeah.
realize that man was even still here.
Yeah.
I don't know everyone that's in the
Right.
audience or what case they're for.
You could just ask.
Yeah.
If it comes to that and you want, just kind of wave at me, I'll go check and see what.
Okay.
I think
He
that's,
came up and said hello to me, but he did not ask that he moved up.
Right, okay.
Like that.
Well, then, okay.
Yeah, just
And then I
I'll
didn't
check.
say, I saw him come back in.
Right.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
Just one thing I noticed, I'm not complaining, I'm just observing, we didn't have a single new case this month.
Yes, we did. We
Well,
did.
they weren't
These were all
listed
new.
under new cases
We
then.
had 5 new cases.
We had
Those were
1,
new
2,
cases?
Yeah, David
3,
Lee's case was a new
4.
case.
Whenever I say compliance and non-compliance, that's usually it.
That's a new case. So there were 5
Sorry
of them.
for
On the
my
last
ignorance.
page, there were.
It's an arm thing.
Maybe it's an arm.
Yeah, it's the pain meds.
I don't
You
know,
didn't have as
you're a
many as
fellow.
last
We did not have as many as last time. It's 11 o'clock and we're done, so. All right, anything else?
They didn't want to provide lunch.
Could have made it.
They did?
It was not funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's basically dealing with one case, right?
One case.
Yeah. Okay, we did pretty well
It was
today.
good
You see
today.
somebody
Good.
go,
It was-
oh,
it
there are
was
these
fine.
nice people that are showing up, and they give us all the right information. Then there are people that,
Right,
if they wait 3 hours, that's the way it is.
right, yeah, okay. All right. Meeting adjourned.
Amy?
And I hope everybody gets better.